This is a recorded version. New questions can't be taken. If you want to ask the question to the panelists, please join the live session every Saturday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, New York time, or 4:30 p.m. IST India time.
VYGOS is Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang, which is scheduled every Sunday morning at 7 a.m. Indian Standard Time. Those who would miss to attend the morning session can listen to the broadcast replay on Sunday evening at 4:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. The aim of this forum is to give the entire world an opportunity to learn the ancient science of meditation and benefit from this pious service inspired by Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, the pioneer of Vihangam Yoga. If you are interested in learning the technique or want to conduct a program at your place, and for any inquiry related to it, please feel free to write to us at info@vihangamyoga.org. That is info@vihangamyoga.org.
Good day to you, ladies and gentlemen, for having assembled here from all over the globe under the auspices of the Vihangam Yoga Global Online Satsang. My name is Swarved and I'm based out of Singapore. I shall be your facilitator for today's program. Today's keyword is Seva. But before we immerse ourselves into this word and world, a few words about Vihangam Yoga. Vihangam Yoga is an incredibly simple and powerful meditation technique, which requires a time commitment of just 10 minutes twice a day from a true seeker. The very initial stages of this practice are seen to provide a noticeable improvement in several important aspects of life, including, but not limited to, improvement in concentration, quick release from tension, lowering of anxiety, lowering of anger, good riddance from addictions, upliftment of moral values. It is the path of freedom. It is the path to freedom, rather, from the 5 vices of lust, anger, greed, attachment, and ego. Now let's come to Seva, the topic for today. Seva, or service, is one of the 4 essential pillars of Vihangam Yoga philosophy. The other 3 being Swadhyay, that is imbibing the content of spiritual literature, of which Swarved comes at the top. Satsang, the company of the learned, the eligible, the truthful. And finally, Sadhana, which is the meditation practice of Vihangam Yoga. At today's session, we have lined up for you musical renditions, short yet deep, thought-provoking lectures, and a Q&A session to clear your doubts and delve deeper into today's topic of Seva, or service. After today's session, you, the audience, should be crystal clear in your minds as to what is Seva, why do we need to do Seva, how do we need to do Seva, when do we need to do Seva, and to whom do we need to do Seva. We will now, with folded hands, pray to the eternal Sadguru to bless us with his august company, help us become more eligible, elevate our consciousness, and enable us to experience the eternal, universal, and absolute truth. We will also pray for world peace and harmony. Here is the Swagat Gan and Mangal Gan for you.
आज स्वागत नित्य गुरुवर संत शुभागम आइए, अध्यात्म विद्या दिव्य ज्योति सोमरस बरसाइए। दोष दुर्गुण दूर करके शुद्ध हंस बनाइए। भेद गम गति ज्ञान गर्जन शक्ति द्वार हटाइए। खुले द्वारा शब्द सागर भक्त जन अनहवाइए। जन सदा फल विश्व शिक्षक शान आन बचाइए। शान आन बचाइए। विश्व शांति नाम मंगल परम गुरु को ध्याइए। वर्ग द्वंद्व शांति दूर कर भाव भेद मिटाइए। सार्वभौम समष्टि सत्ता त्यात्मराज बनाइए। वेश भाषा भाव जगमय ज्ञान पर दर्शाइए। समृद्धि सुख शांति धरातल स्वर्ग भूमि बनाइए। विश्व शिक्षक जन सदा फल नीति स्वर अपनाइए। नीति स्वर अपनाइए।
I would now like to invite our first speaker of the day. Mr. Shekhar is a quality and compliance professional based out of Sydney, Australia, and a thoroughly experienced practitioner of Vihangam Yoga meditation. May I request Mr. Shekhar to highlight what the master of spirituality, Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj, has had to say about Seva from his own spiritual experiences, which are contained in his 4,000 originally composed verses of Swarved, the encyclopedia of spirituality. Please welcome Mr. Shekhar.
Thank you, Saurabh ji. Good morning, everybody. This is Shekhar. It's a great opportunity for us to learn from the encyclopedia of spirituality, as Saurabh ji explained, Swarved. Today, I'm going to talk about some verses from the Swarved, where Swamiji has explained the importance of Seva and what Seva is. Sadhan Seva pratham hai, Seva heen na gyan, Bhakti mukti paave nahi, Gun swabhav sat gyan. Here Swamiji is explaining the basic importance of Seva. He says that for any seeker who wants to progress on the path of spirituality, it is not that you can proceed just being what you're doing on your daily basis. There are certain things which are very important for you. It is only with devotion that a seeker is able to proceed and become stable in sadhana. The ultimate aim of sadhana, meditation, is to move from devotion to self-realization and finally God realization. But this requires imbibing true and ultimate gunas within us, improving our natural behavioral attributes before we can get the Satya Gyan. And then the most important aspect in all of those things is that without having the attributes of Seva, as Swamiji said, Sadhan Seva Pratham hai, Seva heen na gyan, means without having the attributes of selfless service, we cannot achieve or progress on the path of sadhana. And if we can't progress on the path of sadhana, how do we believe that we can improvise on our gunas and our natural attributes and finally achieve the devotion, ultimately reaching towards the mukti? Sadhan seva pratham hai, मानव से बन दे, निष्फल विद्याहीन की, कर सद्गुरु पद से. Upliftment and growth in the path of spirituality transforms an ordinary human being to develop the qualities of devas. Who the devas are? They are the one who always serve others at all times without any expectations. For someone who doesn't have the attributes of and an attitude of serving selflessly, their knowledge, their worldly knowledge, their prestige is of no use in the path of spirituality. For such individuals, the only way to progress is to get rid of their personal ego, surrender in the holy feet of the Sadguru, offer selfless service to ensure that you ultimately achieve the purpose of your life. I would like to stop here and hand over to Swarved. Thank you, Swarved.
Thank you, Mr. Shekhar. To continue with the thought of today's topic, Seva, I would now like to introduce our guest speaker for today's session. Mrs. Khushboo is a company secretary with an energy firm in India. I request Mrs. Khushboo to enlighten us on the importance of Seva and to help us appreciate its various nuances.
Jai Satgurudev, everybody. I am privileged to have this opportunity to share my experiences in Seva of the Sadguru as a working mother. And I am privileged to be blessed with opportunities to do Seva at my own time and pace. Before getting into the spiritual aspects of Seva, let us understand what Seva exactly is. Is it donating money in a temple? Giving up a few rupees to round off our bill at the payment counter of the supermarket to be given to some charitable institution? Or giving away the leftover food to someone who doesn't really need it? What is Seva? The literal translation for Seva is selfless service. Everything in this universe serves us or someone else. The sun's rays nourish life on earth. Rivers give us water to drink. Trees and plants give us food and oxygen. But who do we serve? Do we serve only ourselves? Should we not serve the universe as well? I was initiated into Vihangam Yoga 11 years ago and practiced it for 4-5 years, and honestly, I didn't see any difference or change within myself. There was a time when every aspect of my life was disturbed, be it health, career, or relationships. The doctors at AIMS suggested me to practice meditation, which I was already doing. Fortunately, I had an opportunity to have Mataji's darshan, and she suggested me to do prachar, which was a part of Seva. I took it seriously. Normally, people who are in problem, they do whatever they are suggested, right? They try out on everything. And that is what I did. I took it seriously. And what happened then was surprising. My life was not changing. It started to transform. What once seemed impossible later became well within my reach. My health issues started to settle, which was not expected. I got a transformational opening in my career that justified my academic achievements and qualifications. And at the same time, it considered my time requirements as a mother of 9-year-old. That was when I realized the importance of Seva. Now the question is, what exactly Seva is? What should we do? How should we do? Where do we go? Whom do we serve? So to understand this, let us see what are the preconditions of Seva. So the first one is, one must understand Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. There is no mine or yours. Everything in this universe belongs to God. We are one big family. You must have heard of the saying, what goes around comes around. The more you give, the more you get. The second is, one must know one's abilities. We can't donate large sums of money if we have limited financial resources. But we can put our time and effort for Seva if we are well endowed in both. The third one must understand one's needs. How much does one require for one's sustenance and keep some aside for a rainy day? Seva doesn't mean you earn a certain amount of money, you go and donate everything out of it. You need to sustain, first take care of self, then go and do Seva. So while studying about Seva, I went through Gita, the chapter 12, verse 10 and 11, and what I read was, if you're unable even to practice, then be solely devoted to rites for me. Even by doing rites for my sake, you will attain perfection. If, however, you are unable to do even this, then taking refuge in me and being self-controlled, renounce the fruit of all actions. The Gita refers to surrendering oneself to the divine entity, doing work not for the sake of results, but for the sake of work itself. At the same time, I went through the Swarved, which is written by His Holiness Sri Sadguru Sadafal Devji Maharaj. It says, Seva dharma saman jag, anya dharma nahi koi, Sadguru sevak sulabh sab, koi alabhya nahi hoy. Which means, selfless service has no equal in the world. One who serves the Sadguru finds all tasks easy to do. Nothing is impossible for someone who does selfless service. The other one I read was, Sevak beparwah hai, sevak seva kam, bodh shanti sevak milaye, yah swami varnam. Which means, the follower who doesn't desire anything has no worries. Desire leads to worries. The dedicated follower, being selfless, serves the Sadguru with complete devotion, devoid of any worries. There's one more I read which says, Jahan chhatra bal niti bal, vidya bal bekam, kunthit sari shakti hai, vah seva kar kam. The meaning of this was, where law and order, governance and worldly knowledge are suppressed, you do not work, there the power of selfless service ensure success in whatever you do. And the next was, Seva jab tap tirth hai, makh puja vrat karm, Sadguru sharan uvar hai, Guru seva sab dharm. The meaning is, chanting of hymns, going on pilgrimages, penance, observing fasts and other rituals. All of these come under the ambit of Sadguru Seva. Whatever we do, whatever we have been doing till now, every jap and tap, they all come under the ambit of Sadguru Seva. There is a well-known incident that illustrates the power of Seva. Once, it so happened that the Sadguru used his unique powers to take his dear disciple Seva Vrataji to the Supreme Being. When Seva Vrataji returned into his gross body, he shared his experience with the Sadguru and two other disciples, Shreyanand Sadhu and Achileshwar Mishra. Shreyanand Sadhu started to cry and said to Sadguru Dev Bhagwan, You didn't bestow anything on me. Sadhguru Dev responded, "Do you possess the Seva Bhav, that is, inclination to serve the Sadhguru? You cannot expect to be blessed with this experience if you don't have the inclination to serve the Sadhguru. First, you have to get rid of your suspicion and convert yourself into an ideal disciple. The Sadhguru bestows everything only to those who have gone beyond the call of duty towards Seva." Vows of yogis are bound to be accomplished. His dear disciples and followers should adhere firmly to his instructions and teachings. Life may change and take different turn in a moment. Hence, one should have firm faith and devotion in the Sadhguru and in performance of one's duties. Those devotees and followers who adhere to his principles and act accordingly always get more pleasure, success, perfection, and wisdom. Firm principles take no time in leading to the attainment of objectives and mission. Convenience of spiritual path depends on faith because one is not enlightened in a day. The blessings of a yogi are sure to bring prosperity in the world. Hence, all the Shastras teach us to serve the Guru with all humility. Selfishness, discrimination of any form, and attachment to the world result in downfall in the path of spiritualism. One will get the fruits of one's action sooner or later. Therefore, one should strengthen one's spiritual journey by being humble, cautious, and acting wisely under the guidance of the Sadhguru. The grace of Sadhguru can be achieved only by those who are brave, bold, and courageous. He is realized by him whom he chooses. Jai Sadhguru Dev.
Thanks very much, Mrs. Khushboo, for your comprehensive talk on the subject of Seva or service. I'm sure that your talk and Mr. Shekhar's rendition of the Swarved earlier has provoked thoughts within this audience. And I welcome the audience to share their thoughts and raise their follow-on questions with us on the topic of Seva and other related topics through two means. One, you can type your questions on www.slido.com/VYGOS. Again, www.slido.com/VYGOS. Our WhatsApp number for putting up your queries is +1 for America, 646-653-4926. Again, the WhatsApp number is +1 646-653-4926. Shoot your questions. I now invite Mrs. Rekha to sing a bhajan for us in her melodious voice. Mrs. Rekha is a practitioner of Vihangam Yoga from New Jersey, USA. I also request Mrs. Rekha to kindly explain the core import of her bhajan to the audience upfront, since the bhajan would be in Hindi language.
Thank you, Swarved ji, and Jai Shri Gurudev, everybody. Dear friends, today's topic is related to Seva, and Sadhguru Sadafal Dev Ji Maharaj's life was a great example of Seva. He devoted his life in the service of the eternal Master and propagation of Brahma Vidya knowledge. In the following bhajan, Sadhguru Dev presented the glory of Seva and why it is a must for a spiritual seeker to do service to the Sadhguru. So here is the bhajan. Guru सेवा धर्म बड़ भाई जासे, मुक्ति भक्ति गति पाई जासे, मुक्ति भक्ति गति पाई। गुरु सेवा धर्म बड़ भाई जासे, मुक्ति भक्ति गति पाई जासे, मुक्ति भक्ति गति पाई। गुरु आदेश राखोर अंतर, तर्क वितर्क मिटाई, तर्क वितर्क मिटाई। गुरु आदेश राखोर अंतर, तर्क वितर्क मिटाई, तर्क वितर्क मिटाई। गुरु आदेश राखोर अंतर, गुरु आदेश राखोर अंतर, तर्क वितर्क मिटाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई। गुरु सेवा धर्म बड़ भाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई। सारे धर्म कर्म का जो फल, सो गुरु सेवा पाई, सो गुरु सेवा पाई। गुरु दयाल निज स्वाति देवे, गुरु दयाल निज स्वाति देवे, काक से हंस बनाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई। बहुत जन्म का भूलल हंसा, बूढ़त था न पाई, बूढ़त था न पाई। गुरु कृपाल पल नयन उठावे, गुरु कृपाल पल नयन उठावे, पल में पार लगाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई। गुरु सेवा धर्म बड़ भाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई। जीवन डोरी दो सद्गुरु को, सकल आश बिसराई, सकल आश बिसराई। कहीं सदा फल धन्य गुरु महिमा, कहीं सदा फल धन्य गुरु महिमा, अमिय नद्यन हवाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई। गुरु सेवा धर्म बड़ भाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई जासे, भक्ति मुक्ति गति पाई। बोलिए सद्गुरुदेव की जय। Over to you, Swarved ji.
Thank you for the lovely bhajan, Mrs. Rekha. A powerful bhajan sung in the right notes by a noble soul under the blessings of the Sadguru is bound to create waves within true seekers. And I'm sure that your bhajan helped create a few alignments today. Thanks very much again. At this point, I would request the audience to let their questions flow to us through the channels of Slido or WhatsApp. To remind you once again, our Slido channel for asking questions is www.slido.com/VYGOS. That is www.slido.com/VYGOS. And our WhatsApp number for putting up your queries is +1 646 653 4926. That is +1 646 653 4926. At this stage, we would like to welcome Mr. Raghavendra from the National Capital Region of Delhi, who is our expert guest today. Mr. Raghavendra will take up a few interesting questions from the audience today. Educated from the prestigious Sri Ram College of Commerce and the Indian Institute of Management, Mr. Raghavendra is currently the Chief Knowledge Officer of the Independent Power Producer Association. This is from an anonymous person in the audience who says, if I spend my entire life serving the poor, will that not be enough to realize my ultimate happiness?
Thank you, Swarved, and Jai Sadgurudev, everybody. Before we begin any endeavor, even an endeavor as high and as selfless as Seva, we must begin with the end in mind. What is the objective that we seek from that particular action? So from Seva, what is it that we are really seeking? No doubt, it helps if we definitely go out of our way and help others, such as the poor, if we help society. And this is a recurring feature of Vihangam Yoga. You would see that in addition to spiritual pursuits, core spiritual pursuits, the Vihangam Yoga Sansthan does Seva in areas of flood relief, in areas of education, where we provide educational material, educational facilities, hostels for children who cannot afford that kind of education that we do give. We have a very strong program for the environment and ecology. We have blood donation camps. So there are significant aspects to Seva. We do Seva for cows, as in Gau Seva, which is a very highly regarded part of the overall Sanatan Dharma belief. And more than that, we also make sure that within our families and friends, we reach out to help those who may not be materially well endowed at this point of time. But in Vihangam Yoga, as we know, that the soul has no salary, right? It has no financial endowment. So it really does not matter to us how well endowed that person is, so long as we can help him to find a higher meaning. So it's going beyond just the health issues, it's going beyond the immediate financial problems, and helping that person to connect to a higher purpose. Therefore, yes, we must do Seva on a materialistic level. We must surely help the poor. That would surely be helpful. But more than that, if we can move that person from this limited financial objective to a higher goal, you will see that over a period of time, that person will emerge from these financial problems, from these immediate or even not just financial, even health issues, incurable health issues will get cured. So the rules of nature seem to apply lesser and lesser when we move on to a higher objective. Therefore, my response would finally be, yes, by all means, help the poor, but then go beyond that as well. Thank you, Swarved.
Very nice. We have a second question from Mr. Somras Pandey, who is a student at BHU pursuing his bachelor's in education. Mr. Pandey asks, how can I perform service to the Sadguru? Which is the most favorite seva of Sadguru which he likes most?
What a lovely question. I must compliment Mr. Pandey for that lovely question. Yes, indeed. So, what is it that the Sadguru really wants is something that can be, that you will receive yourself in one or two of these ways. One would be a direct command or a direct order. So this happens when you have gone to have darshan of the Sadguru, and circumstances then suddenly evolve that suddenly you're given a task or you're asked to join or requested to join a group. It can happen again in two ways. One, the Sadguru himself says it expressly from his own self. So you know for sure that this is what the Sadguru wants, and then you take it up assiduously straight away. The other would be that circumstances have been created, and there in the ashram or in that particular congregation where you've gone, someone who has been given some task by the Sadguru has delegated it to you. It is important to know that in Vihangam Yoga, if we are operating under the guidance of the Sadguru, if delegation does happen, then there is a higher power behind it. It is not we who are delegating. Therefore, if I go to the ashram or as part of the congregation, I'm given a task, I must understand that the Sadguru's power is the operant driving force behind it, and I should treat it as if it were given to me by the Sadguru himself. So there is an indirect way of delegation of tasks of work as well. The third one could be, let us say we are in a remote part of the world. Let us say we are in Siberia, in Russia. And it is difficult for us, I mean, even though we may be online, we don't have an online task, let us say. So what seva can I do? The highest form of seva that is there in Vihangam Yoga is the prachar and prasar of Vihangam Yoga, the dissemination of the knowledge of Vihangam Yoga, inculcating the values that Vihangam Yoga stands for, and spreading this message amongst your friends, family, colleagues, anyone. That is one of the simplest and possibly the highest ways of doing seva for the Sadguru. So when in doubt, A, do prachar if you know enough. B, even if you can't do prachar, help a pracharak, help someone who is doing prachar. C, go to the ashram. Even once a year, if you can't manage more, is good enough. Stay connected. As long as you're connected in the flow, you will get opportunities to do seva. That would be my response to this, Swarved. Thank you.
Yeah, so there's a related question, an anonymous person from the audience asking what are the different kinds of seva possible that can be done by us, and do all kinds of seva carry equal weightage? He seems to be a new joiner, and he says that he's heard that prachar is the biggest seva. How would you respond to this?
I would surely agree that prachar is the biggest seva, but prachar itself has segments. If you see how it is finally done, let us say we are a beginner, because if the question is coming from the beginner and our knowledge of Vihangam Yoga is limited and we are not confident of conveying the kind of meaning that we want to convey in the beginning itself, what we can do is to seek guidance. So along with seva, the operant, the key part of seva is selfless service, of which the selfless part is actually more important, because being selfless leads you to service. Otherwise, you could have service, But without being selfless, it's completely nishkriya. There's no point. It will not take you to adhatma. It will only take you to more ego. So in the selfless part, when we are imbibed with the selfless part, we can reach out to people for help. For example, the questioner has reached out to us through this platform. He can or she can also reach out to others in his immediate environment or phone someone to understand, to guide him or her on how to do seva. Then coming back to prachar. So if I am unable to do prachar by myself, I can always help someone to do prachar. I can always bring my family or friend to someone who knows Vihangam Yoga better or has been in it longer, so that he is able to get a clearer idea of Vihangam Yoga from someone who has more knowledge of it at this point of time. Over a period of time, when we do this, we will see that Swamiji gives us more and more opportunities, and we can move to higher levels of prachar. We can do prachar completely independently by ourselves. We can be given the power to give updesh, and this is something that comes over a period of time. So to summarize, yes, prachar is surely the highest form, but within prachar itself, there are many ways of doing prachar or contributing to prachar. Find out what suits you most, what suits your abilities most, and do that. You will be taken from there on by a higher power later. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Raghavendra, and one question from my side. I wanted to understand from you, how does this mechanism of seva work in the spiritual context? How does doing seva enhance the eligibility of the spiritual seeker?
So this is that PhD or MPhil level question that I was wanting to avoid, actually, because for one, to be honest, it is really beyond the level at which I am. This is a very loaded question, because I would need to connect with people whose experiences I have learned from in the last 30 plus odd years that I have been into Vihangam Yoga. So let us see, when we are talking about a spiritual form of seva, for as long as we are in the mental realm, so we are being in the mental realm, in the material realm, we are doing seva of the Sadguru who straddles both realms. The material realm, because he has a material self which is evident in front of you, and he is also the guide to the other realm, and he has his own parallel existence at the highest level where the Supreme Being exists. This entire continuum is occupied by the Sadguru. So when you want to do spiritual seva, you can always start with material seva of the Sadguru, worldly seva of the Sadguru, and it is up to him and only him to decide when to propel you to a higher level of seva, because otherwise all the seva that you do is actually loaded with ego. No matter how sattvic your seva, it is part of the three gunas of this material world. And as you would have seen in your lives, there's so many people who've done so much welfare, who've done so much good, and they've had their downfall. Why? It's because it was not selfless. To be a spiritual sevak, you really need to be a selfless sevak. And this was the point that Khushboo ji made when she related that particular incident where Swamiji took Sevavrati ji to that zone of the Supreme Being. And he said that you need to have Seva Bhav. And only his chosen disciples can get to do spiritual seva. For the rest of us who have not done enough, who have not become selfless enough, there is no opportunity to do spiritual seva. And to think that we sitting down, even in sadhana, even though we may be highly accomplished sadhaks, we may not be doing any spiritual seva unless we are selfless and we have completely surrendered to the Sadguru. To summarize, spiritual seva is in the realm of the Sadguru. If he bestows it on you, if he gives you the opportunity, you can do spiritual seva. Otherwise, these are all plays of the mind. Thank you, Swarved.
Thanks very much, audience, for asking those very thought-provoking questions. And thanks very much, Mr. Raghavendra, for giving us so much insight today on the importance of Seva and other related questions. We now move to the concluding item of today's session, which is the Shanti part. And this is a comprehensive prayer for world peace.
विराग त्याग की शांति हो, उदासीनता शांति, सेवा जित शिष्य शांति हो, सत्य शांति हो शांति। हे प्रभु शांति स्वरूप हो, शांति शांति मय शांति, शांति शांति जन शांति हो, पूर्ण शांति मय शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति। हे प्रभु शांति प्रदान कर, दूर हो सर्व अशांति, देव सदा फल शांति में, शांति शांति सुख शांति।
So we started today's session with a welcome song and the prayer for harmony. This was followed by Mr. Shekhar reciting and highlighting a few select verses from the Swarved, the encyclopedia of spirituality. These selected verses gave us a glimpse of the importance of seva or service in our spiritual upliftment. Mrs. Khushboo elaborated upon the concept of seva further and enumerated its benefits. We then delved deeper with insightful questions from the audience and equally insightful explanations and resolution of those questions by Mr. Raghavendra. We closed today's session with the Shanti part, a prayer for world peace. We sincerely hope and wish that you enjoyed the session and internalized some learnings from it. It was a great pleasure bringing this session to you, and we look forward to having you with us in future sessions of the VYGOS. A library of the past sessions is available on YouTube for your reference. These sessions cover the various aspects of spirituality in general and Vihangam Yoga philosophy and methodology in particular. We encourage you to explore these sessions for yourself. We stand ready to welcome your follow-up thoughts, comments, questions, and feedback. Please feel free to air those through the channels of Slido and WhatsApp highlighted earlier. With this, we come to a close of today's session. May you all have a great week ahead. Pranam, Sadguru Daya, and goodbye.